I just usually feel
I
like
got one of each. So.
Oh, did you? Oh, nice. Yeah.
yeah.
They're not, they're really great quality too. I cannot go on about the quality enough. They just don't fade. I mean, Michael, my ex-boyfriend, I have to say that because we broke up, but he's still my good friend. But anyway, he has a closet full of them because of course, you know, we have to support the thing. And so how many years has he had them? At least 7 on his Tame the Beast. And it hasn't faded. I just washed it the other day and I'm like, I can't believe these shirts. They're made out of some kind of magical thread. I don't know. They're really great though. Oh, and there's Suzanne.
Yay. Yeah, she's joining us and we are live on Facebook.
Okay, great. So we should get started.
Yeah.
And let's talk about, we're going to talk about expansion and grounding, or grounding and expansion, and how important it is. And we're going to give you 3 takeaways. And I want to talk about those first so you know exactly what you're going to get. We're going to talk about the Earth Sky meditation, which is a really wonderful meditation for grounding and expansion. That's like one really super easy way to bring balance into your body in just a couple minutes. And I'll walk you through that. And then focusing on the animal's light and not what's wrong. So of course we know that from studying the Let Animals Lead Way, but it's always a really great reminder that when we have a problem focusing on the light, like, you know, if you're sitting with a dog, let's say that's covered in mange, hi Suzanne, and that is, you know, ill, it's very hard to focus on their lights. Hey, can you mute everyone, Jamie?
Oh, yes, I can. Yes.
Yeah.
Hang on a second.
I think Darlene's got some background noise there.
Sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
We'll take care of that.
You do.
Yeah. There we go.
Anyway, so when we have a problem focusing on the light, like let's say, you know, the animal's really sick or the animal's dying, and it's really hard for you to focus on that light, then another really wonderful tool is the all is well mantra. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that, but we always have to remember the reason why grounding and expansion is important is because with grounding, we get really rooted and solid, right? So we're stable. So now we're like a really strong tree trunk. But with the expansion, the reason that's so important is because with expansion becomes openness, right? So you're not so narrow. When you're narrow, nothing else can get in. You only see the problem in front of you. You can't see anything else. But when we're expansive, we can say, yes, this dog might be dying, but all is still well, right? Now our minds are expansive. We aren't like attached to, oh my gosh, this animal is dying. This is so sad. It's only sad for you and for the other humans. The animals do not see death as a bad thing. And I've talked to so many different reputable animal communicators, and I always ask that question, are animals afraid of death? Because my impression is they are not, but I am not a skilled animal communicator. And Taya, who's a very good friend of ours, who's an exceptional communicator, has told me no, and other communicators that I've talked to, just at industry events, they always say, no, the animals aren't scared of dying. So it's really important that we keep that in our brains, you know, and that's where this expansiveness comes, right? So if we can make our minds expansive and not so narrow-minded, I'm focused just on this animal's dying and just the pain that I'm feeling or the pain that the people are feeling. When we can start opening up our minds and becoming more expansive, we can start to see the beauty and start to see, you know what, this animal has brought so much to me or to this family. I'm so grateful for the animal. Now we can allow so much more to come in because we're no longer narrow. Now we're expansive. But it's so hard sometimes when you're in that moment to go, oh my gosh, I've got to be grounded. I've got to be expansive. How do I do this? So the easiest thing, the first thing you should do is always your breath, right? Slowing your breath slows your mind. So when we slow our breath and we breathe in slowly, very slowly into our belly, into our hara, expand, and then very slowly release the breath, that slowing down slows our mind, slows our emotions, slows everything around us. So now we can go, okay, and maybe we add all is well, right? But maybe that's still not getting us there. And we really need to sit with an animal or sit with a person that's going through crisis. Another thing we can do is the earth sky meditation. So I'm going to walk you through that and then we'll practice it at the end and then we'll open it up for some discussion. But with the earth sky meditation, you always want to make sure you're nice and straight. Your back is nice and straight. You're very solid. And then you're breathing in, you do your Joshin Kokyu-ho or your belly breaths, your breath of light. So just breathing in, connect to your belly, connect to that beautiful light within you. And then on the out breath, expand your light, right? So that alone, just that expansion of your beautiful light, that is what the animals are connecting to. When we connect with animals, we come there, whether we've been doing this for 20 years or even a month, we come there going, I'm here to heal. I'm here to change things. I'm here to make everything better. That's not what the animals want. The animals have shown us time and time and time, thousands of times over. All they want is our light. They don't need us to fix anything because they don't see their problems the same way we do. We see this as, oh my gosh, this is overwhelming. This is end of the world. No, it's just a problem. It doesn't mean anything in the big scheme of things. So for them, when we come and we just shine our light, that is when deep relaxation and healing can occur, right? Because now we're no longer trying to fix something. And even though we're really not trying to fix something, when we let those moments of doubt come into our brain where we're like, oh my gosh, that's when it's like, that's when the animal feels it. Because remember, they are so incredibly sensitive to energy. And so every time we go, our energy goes, but our energy is so much stronger than our words. So we have to remember that. It's like everything's calm and peaceful, and all of a sudden our thoughts create all these waves and everything. So for the animal, it's like, I was just relaxed and now, okay, is she okay? And then they start worrying about us. Oh, she's, because it was so interesting. I was listening to something earlier about fight or flight, right? And so animals are so in tune to fight or flight, but we are so numb to fight or flight because every single day we're experiencing it. Oh my gosh, this unexpected bill came in. Oh my gosh, this came in. For us, it's just something we live with that's internal. So we have to be really, really sensitive about that when we're around animals, because as soon as that energy of fight or flight comes up, an animal's like, what? Is something going on? Is this something I need to fear? And thankfully, a lot of animals are used to us humans being like that, this constant roller coaster of emotion. But when we can sit with them and let go of that fight or flight and let go of everything and just be that beautiful, loving light, that is what creates deep relaxation, deep healing, and deep connection. If you want a deep connection with an animal, be it a tiger, a deer, an eagle, whatever it is, you have to be the light, and that's it. And it seems so simple, yet it is so hard because everything is up here. We constantly doubt ourselves. We constantly question, is this good enough? Am I good enough? Is my light strong enough? Is what I'm doing? Your light is. They show us all the time. And I crack up sometimes when people will do distant treatments, or not distant, they go to do a session with an animal, right? And so it's a new animal they haven't met, or even a distant session and they haven't met the animal. And then they ask the person and the person's like, oh, well, the animal did this or that. And they didn't really seem to settle down. But when you dig a little deeper, the animals always show some sign of settling down. Even in a shelter, they will bark a little less. They'll yawn, give big release yawns. Those are the signs that you really want to be looking for, because those are the signs that show that maybe they didn't lay down, right? We have this view in our head. They need to lay down. They need to do this. They need to do that. But when they start to slow down and they start to show these acceptance signs, then we know, oh my God, this is working. It doesn't have to be a huge sign. So if you can stay grounded, and if you can stay in the light, if you can just keep your body in that beautiful light where you're breathing in the light, you're breathing out the light, and you're just in that space of all is well, that is when miracles can happen. And that is when pure acceptance happens. But it's not going to look like what you want every time. And we have to let that go. So one of the easiest ways we can let that go is always being in balance, right, Jamie? Like, if we can stay in that balanced space, then we can accept what's happening. It doesn't have to look like exactly what we think. Oh, the animal needs to lie down. They need to be on their back. They need to stretch. They need to yawn really big. They need to show complete acceptance. No, they need to show acceptance on their terms. And then the more you do it, the more you connect with them, the deeper the signs will be. So I know that like in a shelter, when I would go and this earth sky meditation that we're going to walk you through, this is what saved me. This is what helped me find grounding and expansiveness in the chaotic shelter environment. So what would happen is I would go with a completely unruly dog that was barking and jumping and not having any peace. And I would go stand in the apartment or his kennel and just like do this earth sky, right? Just be the tree, be the tree. I always envision myself as a great big oak tree, just so strong. And the dog would finally realize after a few minutes, okay, she's not going to walk me. She's not going to give me treats. So what is she here for? And then slowly the dog would still keep barking a little bit till, I mean, usually it's about 20 minutes when you have a barker, they'll just bark, 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 bark. And you just have to, but thankfully the barking gets slower. And then finally there'll be moments where there's no barking and then bark, bark, and then slower barking. Then the next time I would go in, it would be like half barking, half more relaxation, less barking. Maybe they'd sit down, maybe they would lay down, but still alert. The third session, it would be maybe 10 minutes or 5 minutes of barking and then more relaxation. And by the fourth treatment, it's almost all relaxation. So when we can go in there and show them, I am strong, I am stable, I'm expansive. I'm not focusing on your bad behavior. I'm not focusing on, oh, this is an unruly dog. I'm focusing on, this is a dog that's in crisis. And the only way I can help this dog is if I can be strong like a tree. And the way I can do that is I can do the earth sky meditation. So if you can do this, be that strong person in a shelter, you can be that strong person with any animal. It's all about focusing on the strength that the earth gives you, the expansiveness of the sky and the heaven, and how those energies come together at your heart and even just amplify your light that much more, because now you're so strong, you're so balanced, you're so rooted, nothing's going to shake you. So even a dog barking and jumping, you just always turn, you keep doing that. They tire out. It only takes a few minutes. But if we can do this with a crazy shelter dog, you can do this with any other animal. So the earth sky meditation, and I know most of you have probably done it at least once in one of our classes, but it's a very simple meditation. We start with our breathing, that breath of light. So breathing into your stomach and then expanding your light. But then after you do that for a couple minutes, you want to envision that there are roots either coming from, so if you're sitting in a chair like me, you envision your roots are coming from either your feet or your spine. I always like my feet because my feet are on the ground and that's what's connecting to Mother Earth. But if you're sitting like cross-legged on the floor or cross-legged on your bed, you might want to envision roots coming from your spine and going down. And with every breath in and out, your roots grow deeper and stronger. So you just envision these thick roots going deep into the earth, into the earth's core. And then as you breathe, after a minute of that, you start to breathe in the earth's energy, that beautiful, strong, stable energy. Like imagine Mother Earth, she supports so much. Imagine her strength and just that little bit of strength coming up into your body and settling into your stomach. That, just a few breaths of that, just that envisioning that cold, calm, cool, strong earth, strengthening your lower half. Now all of a sudden you start to feel really solid. Now you're like a tree and you aren't going to go anywhere. Your roots are deep. And so now you can start to imagine your crown being really expansive and envision the healing energy of the sun and the sky coming down through your crown, stimulating your third eye, right? And your third eye really controls your spiritual and psychic awareness. And not psychic like, I'm going to be a psychic, I'm going to tell you what's happening, but our psychic awareness, like our intuition, right? So we become more intuitive, more aware, and more expansive. And we bring that energy into our heart. And so this beautiful healing energy from the heavens, from the sky, comes into our heart. And it ignites this beautiful light within us. And when we feel filled, our upper half is just filled with this expansiveness, and we feel really wide and open, like a big tree with big branches, and just we're so large. Then we can bring that earth energy to join the sky and heaven energy up into our heart. We breathe for a few minutes, the beautiful energies mixing together at our heart, making our light even stronger. And as they mix together, they fill the top half and the bottom half of our body with just pure light. Again, this is our own unique light. We're not taking something outward from the heavens and bringing it in. We're just reminding ourselves that we are a part of this expansive heavenly energy, and we are a part of this earth energy. In fact, in the system of the Let Animals Lead Animal Reiki, your hara, your belly, is your connection to earth. And your third eye, your crown up here, is your connection to the heavens and the earth. And they come together at your heart, which is your connection to everything, because we always lead with our heart, right? And so as they mix together and as this beautiful light fills our entire body, it starts to shine out from our heart and from really all around us. And so now we are this beautiful tree of light. And now envision yourself as just this big, beautiful tree, and you are just light. So just like a tree, you don't have to change anything that's going on. You don't have to try and fix what's happening around you, but your energy heals what's around you. So when we, in the Sarah meeting, in the Shelter Animal Reiki Association meeting, we recently had someone talk about flower essences. And in her speech, she talked about how trees will release certain chemicals to help the plants around them, either to help them survive because there's something toxic coming in, or to get rid of other toxic plants, right? So they're really healing without even outwardly doing anything. And that is what we are when we sit with animals. We are now this beautiful healing light, and that's all they need from us. And in that light, that is where miracles can happen. That is where they can heal, or that is where they can pass feeling completely loved and appreciated. But our role is just to be that light. And that is really what causes this deep connection with animals, with the system, is because of that, because we let go of everything else, because we're not trying to fix or heal, because we are just being that light. That is what animals show us over and over and over, that is what they want. They don't need us to fix anything. They need us to see them as whole and beautiful, and to just shine our light so that they can join in that light. So I don't know, Jamie, I know I talked a long time, if you want to add to that.
I think I agree with everything that that you covered. And I think sometimes of course, we put our own perception onto things. When you were talking about when are animals afraid of death? And I think people tend to think that, one, most humans are. And secondly, think about if you have to euthanize a dog or a cat or, any pet, and you take them to the veterinarian office, and then they don't come home with you. And if you have other animals, you've seen them react. I mean, I've seen that. I've had animals get very depressed, and, it took a while to snap them out of that. And what I discovered, so I thought, of course, they're depressed, the animals died, I humanized it. That's what I did. I humanized it. And what I discovered when I started having in-home euthanasia and the animals could be around, they would support the animal when they were sick. They would lay close to them through the whole process. When the animal was removed, they did not go through that same grieving process. So they seem to have this knowledge of, oh, okay, I know, they understand what's happening. And, really, none of us really know what happens when we die. We all think we do, right? I mean, we have our religious beliefs and we have our different beliefs, but it really is the great last secret, that we're all going to find out. But animals seem to accept it better, is what I found. And by us trying to hide them from that or not letting them be a part of it, that is harder on them than actually allowing them to be in this process. And I think that's a lot because they are so balanced. But when someone just disappears from their pack that's usually there, that can throw them off balance because they don't know what happened. They don't know where they're at, what's going on, why did they just suddenly disappear? So if we are in balance, then I think we have a tendency to not put our perception or humanize the actions of the animals as much. I mean, I think we still do it because we're humans, and it's a constant battle. We have this ego, so we're always, having to double check ourselves. But when we can be centered, grounded, and open at the same time, I think we have less opportunity or less tendencies to actually humanize the situation with animals, which can only make for a better relationship, because then they can feel open. They sense that openness.
Absolutely. I will say though, this happened with my dog, Leo. So Leo and Titus was a pit bull boxer mix, and they were like this. They were best friends for 2.5, 3 years maybe. And Titus had to be put down. So we had the vet come, and we had Leo there. And then we buried, so my ex-boyfriend's from the South, and they bury their dogs in the backyard because you aren't going to go cremate my dog and blah, blah. So I'm like, okay, we'll bury the dog in the backyard. So we buried the dog in the backyard, and it was a nightmare. But Leo was there and he got to see it all. Well, Leo just acted like no big deal. And then it was like 2 weeks later, he got really depressed. It was like it finally hit him. But thankfully, I was in a place where I could, because I had to support Michael, who was having this traumatic. I mean, it was the worst burial of a dog that you would ever imagine. Of course, Michael, he's from the South, and they like their whiskey, so he's drunk and he's digging a hole. He's wailing. We live in a very close knit community. He is wailing about his dog. I am like, oh my God, I've got to be strong because I'm breaking up about my dog. But we've got him wailing about this dog. And I had to make, fix Titus's little body in there because Michael was wailing so much he couldn't do it. Oh my God, it was the most traumatic. And so I don't know if Leo, seeing all of that, was just like, I don't want any part of this, and just didn't realize that Titus was gone. But he did have.
Yeah, I'm sure that all the energy from you and Michael, all of that affected how
he was processing it. It was just not good. But yeah, he got depressed like 2 weeks later. But luckily, I was able to help him through his depression through just like going to the earth sky meditation. And that really is my go-to meditation. Of course, the Joshin Kokyo, the breath of light, where we're just breathing in through our nose and igniting our light within us. But after I do a few breaths of that, if my mind is wandering, I always go to the earth sky. And that was really helpful for Leo to see me become grounded and open, because it really helps them to realize, okay, she's okay, so I'm going to be okay. But we did have an animal communicator talk to Leo, and she said basically that Leo didn't understand why Titus had to be put down because they were so close. And so that's what depressed him. But that's why a really good animal communicator is also a really good thing. When we have questions and we don't have answers, it's really wonderful to be able to go to a very highly reputable animal communicator and get answers to those questions. Because sometimes those questions really bother you and keep you out of balance, I think. When you're like, why did this happen? Why did they do this? Why? And
I know for me, when I first started Reiki, I don't know, 18 years ago or whatever it was, the idea of being grounded did not appeal to me. Like people would say, oh, you have to be grounded and you have to do these meditations or this practice. And I really resisted that. Because,
that's interesting. Why did you resist it?
To me, being grounded was like a lack of freedom. And this is just where I was. I wanted to lay on a table when I go get Reiki treatments. I lay on the table and I travel. I'm gone. I'm like, just traveling all over the place. And that's what I love, that I associated that with the freedom. Being grounded, I associated with not having freedom. And so it was, I always got the same message from all the different teachers, and there was a lot of them. And they're like, you got to practice grounding. And I would just cringe, just hearing the word grounding would cause me to cringe. It's like, no, I just don't want to do that. And finally, who's helped me with some of this was Tara. Tara is my desert tortoise.
Oh,
And she has the most beautiful grounding energy. I mean, and Darlene will probably understand this, but a lot of people say a desert tortoise. I mean, how much fun can they be? And she lives outside because that's where they have to live. Um, but I go out and she knows my voice, and I look forward to every year, this time of year, when she comes up out of her Burmation. It's like, oh, there's Tara. I'm all excited. But I would go out there like when I was having to do something that I knew was going to challenge me or take a lot of energy, and I would just sit with her and I would meditate, and I would just ask her for her help to give me some of that grounding energy. And it just felt so beautiful and so peaceful, because of course she was willing, and so by sitting with her in meditation, she's the one who really taught me about the beauty of being grounded. And it's not being stuck, and it's not a lack of freedom. Um, but it's just this beautiful, gentle energy that's slow and steady and safe. It's a very safe energy. When I'm up here, I'm just flying and traveling, and it's exciting. Not that it's unsafe, but safe isn't how I would describe it. But I feel safe with the grounding energy. So now I can appreciate it. And I really do credit Tara for a lot of that, showing me that.
well, those animals like the tortoise, the alligators, crocodiles, snakes, any type of animal that is low to the ground like that, they're really wonderful for grounding. I know at Care, when we go and you sit with the alligators, it's like every time you do it, I don't care who you are, it literally feels like when the dentist puts the x-ray vest on you and it's really heavy and you just start to slink and you don't even realize that you're in meditation. All of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I'm slinking down in my chair, because their energy is so heavy. And it's really a wonderful energy. Snakes too, just really healing. So those animals have so much to teach us about grounding and about, how it's not a bad thing. I love that you shared that though, because that's really interesting. But a lot of people who are up here, psychics and things like that, they don't have that grounding that they need.
Right.
So we should open it up, since we've been talking for half an hour and we want to give everybody a chance to talk before we do our meditation. So does anyone have any questions? And it doesn't have to be about the grounding. If you have a question about just your practice, that's fine too.
But I was very much not grounded until I took my Reiki, the animal Reiki class with you, as you know.
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
And during the class and everything, I literally had the bird seeds on a cookie sheet that I tried to brush off, and they made it into a tree, and it had a very strong root. And it's just, for me, this is one of those things where it was like, okay, the grounding is for the expansion, because the crown of the image of that it left. And funny thing is that it was bird seeds. It could have been anything, but it was bird seeds. So it had to do with the flying, the expansion, the tree, and everything. So, but the grounding part, I love being grounded now. I had the same problem like Jamie did. The grounding for me was not a comfortable thing. But being grounded really does allow you to expand so much more. I mean, absolutely.
Absolutely, because you've got deep roots now. So you have strength. And so now when things happen, you're not toppled over. I love that. Thanks, Mel. Paula, you were going to say something.
Yeah, actually, it wasn't so much about grounding, but just sort of a thought about how the doula approach with animals and the animal Reiki approach overlap so nicely and interweave together. And one of the things that I have used with Reiki with my behavior training, like an aggressive dog or just a dog who's just completely bouncing off the walls, is what's called unconditional positive regard. where you're going in with complete non-judgment. And that was one of the things when I started Animal Reiki with Kathleen that it brought to my awareness was the tendency to be a fixer. Like you said, you come in and you're going to heal and you're going to fix. And what I learned about being a fixer was that it actually disempowers the person or the animal that you're going to fix. It shifts that power dynamic to where you're providing the solution and they are dependent on you. So it really disempowers them when we go in with that fixer mindset. So I just wanted to make that comment that was something that really had been important for me to notice and become aware of in my practice. And it might be just that perspective on it of setting up that shift of power and actually disempowering an animal when we try to fix, maybe a different little perspective that might be helpful for whomever.
I love that because it's so true. It's what we do as parents. Sometimes we disempower our children because we act like, oh, I need to come in and fix this for you. You don't have the power to do this. And so it's really interesting to think of that in the realm of like when we go and sit with animals, because it is true. Our energy is you're broken. I need to fix you, when really our energy needs to be, I'm honored to be with you. Thank you. I mean, because we wouldn't, if we were sitting with, like, let's say the Dalai Lama was sick and we were just going to go and sit with him and hold space, we wouldn't try to fix him. We're not doctors, most of us. And so we would just go and sit with him and be honored to sit with him. And that's how we need to approach animals, because they're so much higher than we are spiritually. And so we have to really focus on bringing ourselves up to their level so that we can be of service and of help to them. But I love that, Paula. Thank you for saying that. I wrote that down too.
I did too. I saw both of us were like, oh yeah, got to write this down.
Yeah, we got to give Paula credit for that little quote. Got to
Yes,
put it out there.
absolutely.
I love that, Paula. But no, really, seriously, thank you for that. That was amazing. And something that, yeah, if you don't mind, we will share that and give you full credit, because that's really beautiful. I love that. Does anyone else have any comments? No?
No?
No one wants to talk? We want a dish?
No, I got something else.
Okay.
So I'm a little bbit under the weather today, so I'm not on camera. But I actually just had a bird fly in the other day, earlier today, from outside, because I have bird feeders out there, and I have specific birds that are now coming super close.
Oh, wow.
And but he was just sitting there again just as I started, and I have to I had to go put some bird food out. So when animals, when they're dying, I have found that they do have fear. I've dealt with multiple animals, like wild animals, because they don't know what's happening. Even if we reassure them that it's okay for them to let go, some just don't understand what's happening. And that's it may be after the fact, when an animal communicator communicates with an animal that has passed, they then see, okay, this was the purpose, so they're not afraid anymore where they are. But that process of it, I have found that multiple animals that I have sat with, even though I tried to reassure them that it is okay to go because they're going to a safe place.
Right. So are these wild animals, Mel, or are these domestic animals that
Both.
are pets? Okay.
Both.
Because
Both.
I know with wild animals, a lot of times the fear comes from, and this is something that was shared with me, the fear comes from not feeling safe. They're
Right.
not sure if where they are is safe, if this is okay. You know what I mean? They're around strangers, they're around people,
Right.
they're scared, that kind of thing. It's not necessarily the act of dying. And then like with domestic animals, they're scared because of the person that they have to leave. Their person isn't.
Yeah. I mean, and I've seen it the other way too. My mom's dog Terry, when she passed, I sat with her, and then she pushed me away to go away.
Mhm.
And then I woke up literally the minute she passed. I went to sleep. I woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning and she was gone, and I felt it, and I went upstairs and she was gone. So she was okay. So I think it depends on the animal. It's not, I don't think it's like a streamlined kind of thing where none of the
No,
animals.
right. You know, I don't think anything ever is. I think there's always exceptions. Also, what happens, I mean, so many times, because Jamie and I work with so many different rescues, and you hear this all the time. An animal will be near death and need to be rescued. The rescue will come in, rescue the animal, get the animal safe, and after a couple of days, the animal will pass.
Yeah, I've that I agree with as well. Yeah.
You know, because they finally feel safe, they finally feel loved, they finally feel like they can let go. So there's,
Yeah.
I think
I mean, like with Dusty, like when he was the first animal that I've ever had to put to sleep 2 years ago, and but I knew I needed to do that. But he was, when I left him, when I walked out of the room when he was still with me, and I had to leave to go to the bathroom. I was with him for 24 hours straight because I couldn't go anywhere. And every time I left, he was crying because he's like, he was afraid. And I could see it on his face, how scared he was. And, you know, and it wasn't, and I was the calm one with him because I knew that this was what he had to go through to come back. I knew he was coming back before he was even gone, you know, so, but it was just, I would, and, you know, I wish I had known like the meditation part of the Reiki then, because it would have helped him relax more, and it would help him just know that it's really know that it's okay. Even though I told him, you know, I sat with him, I laid with him, and I let him feel the energy, but he was so scared to, maybe it was more not to be with me anymore because he didn't want to leave, you know, but I've just seen both ways. So, and I've heard you talk about this multiple times, you know, that animals aren't scared. And I was always like, no, I've experienced that in a different perspective. I
think that I think it's really important too, though, when we talk about animals being scared, that what's our perception of fear? You know,
Right.
what is our perception of this fear? Is it really fear? Or sometimes, like, I don't know what Dusty's medical situation was, but sometimes animals are yelling because they're in pain. It's not necessarily they're fearing what's happening. They're just in pain. And
oh, yeah, I mean, he had a kidney disease. He was in his last, you know, but I mean, it would only be every time I left the room. When I laid with him, he was fine. He would just curl up and everything and stuff like that. And, you know, my previous cat too, like it was just the look in her eye when it was like, but it wasn't until like right before they take their last breath. Sometimes it's just because I'm like, okay, it's coming. And they get anxious, you know, and it's like, they get really this anxiety where it's like, oh my God. And they like know something's happening and then they're gone.
Well, I think you're highlighting something here. So you're highlighting the medical procedure of dying. Like,
right.
Yes, of course, you're taking your last breath. Even if you were okay dying, when you're getting ready to take your last breath and you can't breathe, you will have anxiety, right? It's not like every animal is going to pass with this complete peace and no suffering. But what we're saying is that they're not afraid of what's on the other side, I guess, is what we should say. You know, like, we're afraid of what's on the other side. We're afraid of what happens when I leave, right? And so we have these certain fears. That's what I'm talking about more about. It's not like an animal isn't going to have pain or some type of suffering every single time when they're going to pass. You know, there's no way to ensure that because of their medical conditions. You can't ensure that. You couldn't ensure that I'm going to have a peaceful passing, even with tons of Reiki and everything, depending on what my medical situation is. But I think that overall, you know, animals have shown us that they can pass peacefully if medically allowed, right? Because sometimes it's not going to be allowed. But we have to really be careful. Is that fear, or is that what was happening to them medically, I guess, right? And so I guess we really may not know, but we have to look at. you.
And I think, I mean, bringing this up and like having this discussion from like multiple perspectives is a good
Yeah.
thing. I think that
Oh,
people
absolutely.
question that.
Absolutely.
And, you know, people have to like, but I see it differently. And it's like, if we bring it up from, you know, multiple perspectives, then people may be like, okay, I understand now that it's possibly just this or the other. So that's why
Right.
I kind of wanted to bring it up and put it out.
Absolutely.
Other-
Nicole. I welcome that. I
Yeah.
totally welcome that because
or-
that's your experience. And I'm not saying your
Oh,
experience.
no. And I just, you know, I figured I'm like, you know, there's people out there who are not so sensitive to animals' energies either. And, or, you know, they feel awful that they have to put an animal to sleep because and it's like, but understanding things from like a variety, like multiple perspectives and putting it together, it may help other people understand that, yes, there is maybe that part of it where they are afraid, but on the other hand, they may not be because it's just the anxiety of passing. Because
Well,
we
I
have
I think we have to be really careful with that too when we're
Right.
talking about putting animals down, because it's so hard for people when they go to put their animal down. And if we're saying, oh yeah, well, your animal might feel anxious or your animal might feel scared, or, you know, then it's like, you know, it adds to that. Whereas that's why I've always asked animal communicators, you know, and they've always said, well, you know, first of all, animals see us as flawed. Now we know this. We're not gods in animals' eyes. We think we are, but we're not gods. And they see us like, because remember, they see our light. They see who we truly are at our core. Like we can sit there and do all this other stuff with humans, but animals see who we truly are at our core. And that's why they can tell, oh, this person's good, this person's very angry, right? Without any outward emotion. So when it comes to us having to put animals down, they forgive us. They know that they're here for us. It's like,
I agree with that.
yeah. So I think that just
Yeah,
being,
because we know they know that it's, you know, it's not something we would do to harm them, unless of course, you know, they I not that I want to say this, but there are people out there who do not take very well care of their animals, and they're probably more relieved now that it's over, you know, if that is something like that happens. But you know, I mean, Dusty was, like I said, the first animal I had to put to sleep, and for me that was very hard, but he didn't even look at me when he did not look at me. He looked down and it was over. And I'm like, oh my God. And then but for him, he didn't want to see that he didn't want to like see that last thing. He kind of showed me, like, cause he came back like within days, like his soul was in my bedroom. I mean, I have pictures of him and all the stuff. And I saw him, he was so anxious to play with everyone again, because now he's like, oh crap. It's like, I can't play with you anymore. You know, he saw me play with my other cats, and they came out of their shell when he was gone, because he was a very dominant cat, very dominant. So they didn't really miss him so much, you know. But as soon as he came back, they knew he was back, and they're like, okay, we're going back to normal, like our regular scheduled program. Dusty is the man again. So, and he was 16 weeks old. I mean, you know, so it's I don't know. I know I'm getting away from the subject, sorry, but
yeah, no, and again, you know, we have to also too, I mean, and this is a whole nother conversation about, there's a bigger plan for animals, I believe, that they're up here in this web. And Dusty leaving, you know, I mean, I have a story about my dog and Kathleen's dog getting put down within one day of each other.
Yeah, you told us that.
So I mean, there's something going on that we don't even know about. And sometimes we might think we're having to put our animal down for whatever reason, but our animal might want to leave and know that that's the only way to do it too. So we just have to like let go and just be that light, and not try and humanize what's happening, but just know that by being the light, that is the biggest gift we can give animals.
I'm sorry, I don't know if anyone else can see this, but you have a light around you. Every time you move, there's a light coming.
Oh, no, I don't see that.
It's really pretty.
Oh, thank you.
It's really pretty, especially around your hands.
I'm the light.
You have this glow around you. I don't know if it's maybe just the way the light hits you, but
Oh, funny.
yeah, I noticed that. It's like it's very, you have a light around you today. It's really nice.
Suzanne, who is this little guy?
Okay,
There you
this is Gabby.
Hi,
She's
Gabby.
my and Gabby. She's my heart dog. She's one of the 4 that live here with us, but
Oh, look,
I don't tell the other. I know, it's like she's my Velcro dog.
look at her. Look at her.
She's
She's like, I know I'm number 1. I know
I
I'm
know. It's a mommy
Look at her.
baby.
She is just like, yes, that is true. It's so true. I am the Velcro dog. I'm the favorite. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
she's a
cute.
good girl. She's adorable. We got her. She was about 3 years old. They were rehoming her, so all our dogs come from different situations. So
That's
yeah.
so nice. Did you have any
But,
questions today, Suzanne? It's so good to see you.
Oh, thank you. No, I haven't. I did have questions and I should have written them down, but I haven't been feeling good for the past couple of weeks. I've had this horrible head cold, and so my brain is not functioning at 100% lately.
That seems to
Hopefully.
be a very common occurrence right now. I know Kelly, well, she had a very bad head cold, then she found out she had COVID. And then my mom and my aunts all got sick. And I know that that's just been going
Yeah.
around something, you know.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
I know. I tested for COVID, so it wasn't COVID. So, but I've just been underwater. I feel like I've been underwater for like 2 weeks. Like,
Oh God, that's an
can't think. You know, you can't think. I'm like, get me out of here.
I know. Well, the next time you have questions, be sure. And you can always, like when, as you have them, you could write them in early.
Yeah,
And
I
then
should
we'll,
do that because I'm notorious for things falling out of my brain. So
me too. So that's why we offer for people to submit their questions early because, yeah, it's hard to keep track of everything in our lives for sure.
yeah.
Darlene, did you have anything today? No?
Again, I've been under the weather myself, so my brain just totally dumped. So it's like I knew I had stuff, but it's like I didn't take the time to write it down. So
We all are getting old and we need to start submitting our questions early.
Right. It's like I need to put a notepad and pen and paper in every room of the house, so whenever I think of stuff that I can just write it down. Because I keep telling myself, oh, I'll remember. The lie I keep telling myself. So
I know. I do the same exact thing. Oh, I need to remember this. I'll think of something really cool. And I'll go, oh yeah. And then I'll just go, oh, I won't write it down. The worst is in the middle of the night. I don't want to write it down. And that's when you get your best thoughts. Right, Jamie?
Yes, it is. Absolutely.
Did Jazz have any questions?
No, I'm good.
Okay. All right. Hey, Jazz.
I'm also not feeling I'm also a little bit.
Oh my God. Maybe we should get into our meditation then. So we can all
think
that would be good.
a little better. Okay. So let us get nice and straight. And we'll take some deep breaths and just on our out breath, let go of all stress that you're holding on to in your body. Any kind of tension, restrictions, feel your shoulders soften. As you breathe, feel your jaw soften. And feel your body just start to relax. And start to slow your breath. Remembering to pull your breath deep into your belly and expand your belly. And on the out breath, release. Very slowly though, slowing our mind, slowing our breath. And I'd like you to imagine there are roots coming from your spine, growing deep, deep into the earth. With every breath in and out, your roots grow stronger and travel deeper to the earth's core. You start to feel the earth's calm, cool energy come up through your roots and into your belly. With every breath in and out, you feel the bottom half of your body become strong and stable. The beautiful, calming, stable energy of the earth fills the lower half of your body, igniting that cellular memory that you are a part of the earth. You are made from the earth. As you breathe in and out, you start to feel solid, like a huge oak tree, completely unshakable. I'd like you to envision there's a beautiful healing light coming down from the heavens, from the sky, into your crown, flowing down into your heart and filling your heart. This beautiful, warm energy. The energy of the sky and the heavens is expansive. Unlike the earth, it is warm. It fills the upper part of your body with a warmth and a glow. As you breathe in and out, feel the upper half of your body become more expansive, more open. Feel your intuition being stimulated, your spirituality, the knowledge that you are expansive and open. Like the oak tree, you have large, widespread branches that reach up into the sky. Like a tree, you are strong and stable. Now slowly envision this beautiful energy of the earth coming up from your core into your heart. Feel it mixing with the heaven energy, the cool and the warm, coming together and creating a beautiful light at your heart. As you breathe in and out, this light grows stronger and more expansive, slowly filling the bottom half of your body, flowing up into your neck, into your head. As you breathe in and out, feel yourself becoming this beautiful light. In this space, you are strong and stable, yet expansive and wise. Your wisdom comes from this space. Your intuitiveness comes from this space. As you breathe in and out, feel your light start to seep out every pore of your body and fill the space around you. You feel strong, you feel stable, you feel calm and peaceful. In this space, all is well. I'd like you to bring to mind an animal that you would like to connect with. This could be an animal that is with you today. It could be an animal that's past. It could be an animal that you know. Just invite them to join you in this space. And see their light. See them as a beautiful light, just as you are. Feel the warmth of their light, the love from their light. Whether or not the animal connects with you, know that your light is pure, pure love. You shine like the sun with no expectation, just shining. Maybe the animal you invited lays in the warmth of your sunlight. Maybe they join you in your light, join you at your heart. In this space, all is well. We are all one. We are all connected. We are all love. We are peace. And we are joy. In this beautiful space, there is no darkness, only light and love. See the animal that you've invited as pure love, pure wholeness. As you sit connecting with your animal, feel your own light grow. Feel your own light become expansive and stronger. This beautiful circle we've created with our individual lights. We are so bright. In this space, we can remember that love conquers all. There is no problem that love cannot cure. And just sit in this space for a moment, basking in the love that you feel for yourself and for the animal that has joined you. I think us to slowly start to bring ourselves back, but keep your animal with you if they'd like to stay. Keep your heart open to this connection. Even though you're coming back into your physical body, maybe you're wiggling your fingers, maybe you take a deep breath. Keep this beautiful sense of being grounded yet expansive with you throughout your day, into your week, always knowing that coming back to your breath and visualizing the earth and the heaven will bring you right back to this spot, to this pure strength, expansiveness, awareness, intuitiveness, and most of all, peace. Whenever you're ready, we can bring our hands into Gasho and give thanks for all who joined us. And give thanks to yourself for being open to this meditation and this experience. Whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes and come back.
Thank you, Leah. That was beautiful.
Thank you, everyone. That was so nice. I love
Yes.
One of my favorites.
Pardon?
That's one of my favorites. I do that one quite a bit, so I love it. So
Me too. It is literally my favorite because it just encompasses everything we're learning in Reiki, that just the grounding and the expansiveness and the heart connection. And so it just encompasses it all, and it's so simple, and it's something we can teach anyone, and we could do it anywhere. And it's a beautiful meditation to share with people who are in crisis and having a hard time, because you can feel that instant groundedness, but yet expansiveness, so that you cannot be narrow-minded, so you can open your mind, like, here's your problem. Now we can open it and go, okay, I'm expansive. I'm bigger than this problem. I'm bigger than what's happening. And just having our animals connect with us. It was so funny. I connected with my dog Titus that I've been talking about the past, and it was like the sun came out and I was like, oh, my baby, my love, my sweet love.
Well, I just feel the pulling up all the energy from the roots. It's like I sit, I've put my hands in, earth pose and connect my thumbs, and it just helps me to focus. But I can just feel that all that positive energy just coming up through the roots, and it just is so powerful.
Yes, yeah. That brings up a good point. Like when you're feeling sad or down, to just sit and do the earth sky. So you can bring that really just beautiful energy of the earth. I mean, look how much we put her through, and she just keeps giving, keeps on and giving. She just loves us and supports us. And as there's so much construction going on next door, and it's like they're building these big high rises, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, she just puts up with so much, right? But yet she's Mother Earth and she just gives. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I did. I cleaned up my whole area yesterday. I moved, and there's the people around. There was a lot of trash outside, not just trash, but it was just not clean. And yesterday I was compelled to like clean up the area. I found an old trash can and I just moved it around and I just picked everything up, and it just felt so good to clean her, like clean Gaia. It was just, it felt so good to get rid of some brush and just to let it breathe. There's so many little plants that wanted to come out, and it's just, they were all covered with old leaves, and it was just, I came in, it was almost dark, and I was like, oh, this was so needed. It felt like she can breathe again, you know?
Oh, I love that, Mel. I love, that's so inspiring. I love
I have
that.
to go. My cat just brought in the chipmunk somehow. And so I gotta take off. I love you guys. You have, your energy is always fantastic. I hope you have a great week.
You too, Mel. We love when you come. And thank you so much for the conversation. I love that.
Yes, me too. Thank you. I'm glad. It was just because I think it is that important that we are the grounding people, like you, the grounding parts to help them transition, which I understand now, having taken or being an animal Reiki practitioner. Now I understand that, how important it is to be grounded for them.
Absolutely.
I thank you for that. Thank you for that. So, okay, I gotta go. I gotta catch a ship.
All right.
Bye,
Bye,
Mel.
Mel.
Everybody.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. Mwah. It was lovely seeing all of you.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.